Hi fellow makeup fiends and welcome to day one of Nude Week. So I'm going to start this week at high street level and I'm actually going to be showing two palettes from Beauty UK. Beauty UK kindly sent me these two palettes to review on my channel and give my honest reviews about. So these are the Posh palettes and they are number 1 Eden and number 2 Masquerade. I know there's a third one which is very bright colours, but these are the ones that were really suitable to me for Nude Week because they asked me to pick two products. And it's on my new blog, Colour of My Kiss. So let's get started talking about these. So we're going to start with palette number 1. I hope the lighting is okay. I'm actually sat at the window right behind you now, hopefully to get some really good natural light to show you the colours in these palettes. So in these palettes you get 10 colours. They're a really generous size and I love the packaging. I love the white. I'm normally not one for these kind of see-through parts on lids. I don't like the MUA because it's all see-through, and I know some people like that because they can see the colours, but I prefer a more closed lid. But I do like this, which is just two long thin windows that kind of just give you a hint of the colours inside, so that you don't need to obviously open it up if you're in the shop. You can actually see what the colours look like. And because this lid isn't completely clear, there is also room inside for a mirror, which is great because it's just enough for you to see your eyes in it when you're doing your makeup. So that's a nice little addition in there. It's a really nice heavy plastic. It does feel substantial. It feels like good and solid, so it doesn't feel like it's flimsy or cheap. So I do love the packaging on these. And then in this one, these are very warm tone sort of colours. Sadly, these don't actually give you names, which is a bit of a shame because us ladies tend to like our shades to have names. I really don't know why, but yeah, we do. Or most of us do. This has got some quite nice sort of bronzy sort of shades in here, some coppers. As I said, this is more of the warm toned of the two. So on my blog post there are some swatches. This palette actually swatches very nicely. I feel like the colours have got decent pigmentation to them. The first shade is really beautiful copper colour. It's a colour that I've got into quite a lot recently. Then you've got quite a nice crease colour. You've got a lovely ivory shade. A more intense orangey sort of copper colour, whereas I'd say the first one's a true copper, and then another one that I think would look quite nice in the crease. So on level 1 you've got these shades. Now I wouldn't say they're hyper pigmented. If I was to take a shade from the Naked palette and swatch it, I don't know, let's just go for this colour because it's similar to something that's in there, and I would swatch that. I think that you can see the massive difference that is the quality in the shades. This one, that is just literally rubbing it and then put it on my arm. Very intensely pigmented, whereas I feel that these are not intensely pigmented. Let me try with a brush, because sometimes shadows do perform differently with a brush than they do with your finger. That's the thing with a lot of other brands where people, when you swatch them, they're kind of like, oh, that's not a very good colour, but actually they do perform better on brushes. Okay, so we'll go for this one because out of this level, this is definitely my favourite one. I'm going to swatch that directly next to it, which is really great because it's on the end. So pack some on the brush. Now I feel that's the two of them together there. I kind of feel that that is just a tiny bit on the brush, and I kind of felt that that's swatched actually really well with a brush. Yeah, so they're not mega pigmented, so I wouldn't say that it performs different. It might perform better maybe with a damp brush. But these are the 5 colours. You get a copper, a nice crease colour, the ivory is really lovely, a more orangey bronzy copper, and then a brown at the end. I do really, really love this shade. I think that has got fantastic pigmentation on it. That's what it looks like, and I'm actually going to swatch that somewhere different. That's it there. Really, really love that because I do love that kind of thing all over the lid before I put the colours on. I think that make a nice base colour. I think perhaps some of these colours might perform better on top of that colour. Oh yeah, I would definitely say that those two colours have performed a little better with that ivory colour underneath. So that's quite interesting. Sorry, I'm talking downwards. Yeah, so out of the first layer, they're really pretty colours, but they're not massively pigmented. So if you are looking for a palette that's going to give you great pigmentation, I'd say that this probably is not for you because it's not going to. But the shadows are really nice and creamy. I've just actually used this sort of crease sort of brush. This is what I use for the crease. It's a bit diffused. And actually when you use that, that comes off quite nice. So I think that would make a beautiful crease brush. So that is a colour that actually performs a lot better with a brush. This colour's really nice on its own. I love this one. It's just these two colours at the end that I would say they don't perform as well, but they are nice colours. So maybe it's just a case of finding a way to make it work for you. But these three colours are lovely. So I think that you could put this all over the lid, put that on top and put this in the crease and have a really nice eye look. So I will try that for an upcoming look for you so you can have a look and see what those are like. So on the bottom layer, you've got some more bronzy sort of shades and you've got another sort of ivory colour. So let's see what those ones are like. These actually, looking at the first swatch, these seem to be a little stronger, but they are the darker shades in the palette, so maybe that's why. So that is the bottom layer of the palette. Again, not the most intense pigmentation there. Sort of a warm brown, then a bronzy brown. That's quite a cool toned dark brown. Then you've got another sort of ivory shade, but it's got more of a shimmer to it. And then you've got another sort of bronzy shade there. So I do feel like there's some similarity between some of the colours. So in this palette, I love the first three, and I love these two colours here, but the other colours are a little bit hit and miss for me, a little wishy-washy, and not so much for me. So I would say that these two colours, this one and these two, are so similar. There's very little difference between them, and I think a lot of to do with that is they aren't greatly pigmented. So because there's not a huge amount of pigmentation there, it's a little difficult to tell the difference between the colours. But it is a nice warm coloured palette, and to be honest, I've got nothing like this particular colour here, and copper is very pretty on the eyes, and I do love my sort of ivory shades, and I've got like more a matte and a shimmer there. And this brown here, I actually really like this one. It's very cool toned, and it's got decent pigmentation to it, so I think I could work with that. And they seem to have a nice sort of satin sheen to them, so they do have a really nice finish. So that one is Eden, and then this one is the one that I thought would be my favourite. This one is Masquerade. And what I love about this is the particular tones in this palette. It's a lot more cool toned, but you do have this very interesting sort of red colour here, like a burgundy colour. So I swatched this already for my blog. I did find that the first two colours in this palette are incredibly disappointing pigmentation wise, because I had to really work to get any colour, particularly this one at the bottom, and you wouldn't expect that because it looks really dark. So I just found that this one was a little more disappointing. Number 2, Masquerade. But the colours in this one are certainly very pretty and look very interesting. So this one's Eden and this one's Masquerade. I mean, to be honest, if you're looking for a really sort of broad range of colours, you'd be better purchasing them both, because you do have a bit more warm toned and then cool toned. These are more sort of coppery bronzy shades. I think these ones are a little bit more neutral. Let's get on with the swatches of Masquerade. Now, as I said, the first shade, just incredibly disappointing. I've really worked at this. I'm really working at it now. That's what it comes like on your finger, but there's just nothing. It's just not very good. So this is level 1 of the Masquerade palette. You're going to struggle to see the first two colours, in fairness. They are incredibly pale. They're just going to come up as a bit of a shimmer on my skin. So as you can see, very disappointing for these first two colours. The last three colours on this top layer though are beautiful colours. I love this very cool toned dark brown. You've got another lovely ivory colour, not too dissimilar from the first palette. And then you've got this lovely colour here. Now, actually in the palette, this one looks a lot darker than that one, but the pigmentation on this is really poor. It looks great, but when you actually swatch it on your skin, you don't get a great deal of colour payoff there. It is nice because it's quite a smoky sort of grey brown. It still is a lovely colour. I'd probably use it in the crease, but it's not very strong, so it's a little disappointing. But definitely for me, these two shades are just not very good, but I love these last three shades here. So there we go, side by side. This one here and this one here. are very close. I'd say one is a slightly yellower tone to it, but they're very, very close. So that's something, a similarity that the palettes actually share. Now let me get on to swatching the bottom row. So the bottom row looks very exciting. It's got some really nice dark colours in here. Like I said, the first colour, I just can't seem to get the first colour to perform. I don't know. I think I'll scratch the surface of it. Now I've actually shown you the palette, I can actually scratch it. Maybe that'll help. It's not helped a great deal, but it has helped a little. So this is the bottom layer, and as you can see, this bottom layer definitely performs a lot better. The first colour is very, very odd in that it has this really nice dark colour, but look at it on the skin. It just does not want to perform. I've scratched the surface, I've tried all sorts, it's just not very good. The second colour is disappointing for me because in the palette it's this beautiful red colour, but when you get it on your skin it's very, very washed out. So the first two colours on this level, again, I think the first four you could just get rid of because I don't think these are very strong, but the last three are beautiful colours. So you've got a lovely warm toned brown here, really nice chestnut brown. The black is incredible, it's very, very pigmented. It's a little bit chalky, but when you look at it, that's what it looks like. The black is just an incredible colour. And then what I love about this palette, because I don't have anything like this, is I love this last colour. I wonder if they do this in their permanent line as an individual colour. If they don't, I hope they do. Or I might have to email them, ask that question, because I love how this one comes out. So that's this one here. It's this beautiful, very pared back silvery taupe colour. It's so beautiful. I can't wait to use that one. So I am looking forward to using this palette in a look as well. I am going to not use the first four colours. I'm really unimpressed with the first four. This is a colour I think that could attract people massively to this palette, but it's just really poor. It's just, I don't know. Let me scratch the surface of that one as well. I've scratched the surface, but you shouldn't actually have to. So that's it after I've scratched the surface. I've got it in two places there. I don't know. That, to me, is not what that looked like before I scratched it. I don't know. I thought that was going to be a really beautiful, rich sort of claret red wine colour, and it's not. It's a huge letdown. So from this palette, really don't like the first four shades, but really do love these last six shades. They're really, really nice. I'd quite happily take those 6 shades and put them with these 3 shades, because I think they're amazing, and these two here, and that would be perfect for me as a palette. So I do think that it's a bit of a shame that there's some of the colours in the palette that aren't great, but I do think there are nice colour choices. I do think that this one here has a little bit too samey sort of colours, so there's a lot of similarity between a couple of the colours, which I think that could have done without. And I do feel that this one, it just has some disappointing shades that really just don't show up very well or aren't quite what you expect of them. That said, I love the last 6 shades in this palette very much. I can't wait to try those out and use them, and there are some really nice shades in this one that I don't already have in my collection. So I do think they're a good addition to your collection, as long as you're aware that they don't perform as well as an Urban Decay palette, and yeah, they need a little bit more work. But that's them. Those are the Beauty UK Posh palettes in Eden and Masquerade, number 1 and number 2. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Please check out my blog post at the link below. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and I'm going to love and leave you and see you all soon. Bye. Please check out my blog post at the link below. And it's my new blog.